Robert, Senator Vance faced plenty of tough questions in the battleground state last night.
Yeah, tough questions and taking a deeper dive into exactly who he is as a candidate and what his vision for the nation is.
You know Senator J.D. Vance. Thank you all for being here. A round of applause for the senator.
Vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance sitting down with NewsNation's Chris Cuomo in an exclusive town hall Thursday night as the Trump campaign makes its final pitch to the American people.
And unfortunately, it's gotten very tumultuous under Kamala Harris's leadership. But one of the biggest and most important arguments I can make for Donald Trump is I really believe that he is the candidate of peace.
Addressing controversial topics.
Do I think that the media certainly got distracted on the housing crisis and the health crisis and the crisis in the public schools by focusing on the eating the dogs and the cats things? Yeah, I do. And do I wish that I had been better in that moment? Maybe.
And hot-button issues, including immigration, abortion, and the economy.
But how do you argue that you will get wages up in America? What mechanism can government do?
Well, one is we got to promote prosperity for everybody, right? Unfortunately, what we've seen under present leadership, under Kamala Harris's leadership, is we've had a lot of investment in things like electric vehicles manufactured in China, not nearly enough investment in the types of auto jobs that have actually powered the Michigan economy for the last nearly 100 years. Right?
The town hall held in Michigan, a critical battleground state where polls show a razor-thin margin between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Trump. The VP hopeful took questions from a live audience consisting of Republicans, Democrats, and independents, asking the vice presidential nominee about kitchen table issues that matter most to them.
There's a lot of focus on crime by undocumented migrants in big cities, but I live in the country. What do you think can be done for the rural areas that are feeling it?
We just got to get back to deporting people who shouldn't be here, finishing the border wall, just enforcing our immigration laws would make so much of this problem go away.
A surprise moment for Vance, with former President Trump calling in to ask a few questions of his own.
I do have a question, and I think it'll be quite an interesting one. The answer should be easy. How brilliant is Donald J. Trump?
And touting his recent bump in the polls.
We're leading by a landslide, as they say, and we're very happy about it.
And that town hall marking one of the final opportunities the Trump campaign has had in order to make that pitch to Michiganders before early voting opens up statewide. That takes place Saturday. Markie?
I know he certainly sought to strike a unifying tone. You know, he said, whether you vote for me or Kamala Harris, don't cast aside family and friends. Politics is so not worth it. I think that went a long way for a lot of folks. Robert, let's talk about today now, because I know the former president heads to Texas to appear on Joe Rogan's podcast. What are we expecting there?
I mean, we've seen the former president taking this strategy much, much more in recent weeks, appearing on a lot of these podcasts and appearing on media platforms that you really haven't seen campaigns diving into in recent years. Theo Vaughn is one that comes to mind over the span of the last couple of weeks. The strategy from the Trump campaign has been very clear, and it's been carried out a few different ways over the last few days. Expand the electorate before November 5th. They have the base that they believe that they have fired up, but now it's a matter of finding new voters and reaching new people who they may not have been able to reach from some of these rallies or some of these other events that they've been taking out. So that is the big focus here. And you've seen that especially the case in Michigan, trying to appeal to new demographics of voters. So he heads to Austin, Texas for that sit-down on the Joe Rogan Experience, and then he is back in Michigan tonight for a rally in Traverse City later this evening. Markie?
We know that Rogan has, on average, 14.5 million listeners per podcast, so they definitely know the reach that he has, no doubt about it. Robert Sherman, thanks so much. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.